Easy choice. This is your state. Head coach of the University of Texas, David Pierce. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No doubt.
What's happening around here with ABCA and just the expansion and so many things happening with the organization and just incredible exhibits. And just finished listening to Mike Matheny. What a great guy to listen to.
Absolutely.
And that's what resonates with me when I come to the clinic. What do I want from it? And honestly, if it can confirm what we do,
sure,
and I like what we do, we'll hang on to that. Maybe a new way of saying the same thing.
Sure.
Or you might find one or two things that changes a kid's learning. And that's really what I go for. And just in the handful of guys that I've listened to, I've picked up something from every one of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And I think Mike's so right. If you quit learning, you might as well, you're dead. We got to stay on. We got to continue to evolve with our players.
Yeah.
The game is at its best right now, and so we got to continue to evolve, and we have to coordinate our personalities and creativity with the new technology and the way our players learn. And so, that's really what resonates with me here at the clinic.
It's outstanding. This is an easy conversation just because more than that, because you just got off the main stage, so it gives us a chance to go back to your presentation yesterday and. Can you just open that up in terms of what were your mission? What was your goal of that talk?
Well, I think first to understand that we are teaching a different player these days.
Right.
And they're really smart.
Incredibly.
They're very smart, but they're very motivated. They
Sure.
want to be great.
Yeah.
And at Texas, we have so many expectations, so we embrace that piece of it. But our true message was, all right, we've been doing strength conditioning, and we've been doing off-season and kind of the same drill for years.
Yeah.
For me, it's much more about getting it a little more organized for the players and more structured because that's the environment that they've grown up in.
Right.
So we've now taken our first phase of our building phase of our strength conditioning. Instead of just telling our players, hey, we got strength conditioning today, now we're in this phase of build. All right, what are we building? And then that really resonates with them. And it's a shorter period. It's 4 weeks. Now we want to carry that over to the next one. So that's what we've done with our phases. We've continued to do the same thing, but now we've just labeled it more.
I love it.
And then what we do with our Texas missions is just something that kind of fell in our lap when we just started doing some research year to year about our own teams. And what made some differences. And so then we started getting a little deeper into it.
Sure.
And over the past 7 years or so, we looked at some of the numbers and go, all right, this needs to be a priority. Because when we do these things well, we tend to win the game. But with that, it's also about educating, engaging, and having those kids to – I mean, it's literally in our hall, in and out of the clubhouse. Every single day, did you execute this area? And if it's their area and they did, they build off of it. If they didn't, then we have to take a step back and go, all right, we have to improve. And so we just use it as a part of our teaching.
Wow. Okay. It's so awesome when I get a chance to hang out with you because, and I told you this when we got done airing it, when we had our podcast episode, it was at that moment, and I believe in the plan. I believe in timing is everything. Your message, our conversation, I felt like we were on the phone for 2.5 hours rapping, and we only got to throw out an hour and a half to our coaches, but your conversation challenged me. I think it was a wealth of your perspective and me trying to just learn through your experience and where you've landed in this whole coaching thing. And I just asked Schloss, I think I got to ask you the same thing just for young cats that are out here watching this is when you go back to that young David Pierce that first broke into coaching and spend some time there, get back in the mind of your 22, 23, 24-year-old mind. When you track that journey in baseball, what are the things that you're most proud of that you moved from?
Well, first of all, I'm glad I got into it because originally I was not a baseball coach. I went in the business world as soon as I got married for 3 years, and that was a great motivator for me because I knew I didn't want to be in the business world. So it made it easy when I had those tough days of questioning whether I was making enough money or questioning, do I really want to teach history or be in the classroom, all for just this one piece of coaching baseball. And really moving away from it being about me, much more of understanding that it's about the players, and I'm just another resource for them. And so you mature of how you send the message. It was a lot less dictatorship now, and much more involvement of everyone.
Yeah.
And as a 25-year-old head coach, I did a lot of things wrong. We did well, but I didn't like the way I presented some things.
Yeah.
And so I've just learned how to communicate with our team a little bit better.
Yeah.
And really understand how to communicate and help our coaches. Because I know when I went to Sam Houston State, it was my first Division I job. So when I went in there, I was 47 years old.
Okay.
So I felt like I knew what to do, and I'm in control of this. And I felt comfortable with it, but I had to take a step back of I'm not a position coach anymore.
Right.
And I'm not one-on-one in the cages. Now I have to manage.
Right.
And so how am I going to also manage the coaches to be a resource for them where I can help them and get out of their way? Because if I can get out of their way and they're great coaches, then they get better ownership. They take a lot of pride in being great.
No doubt.
And so everybody wins. And mostly the players.
Yeah.
And so it's just been awesome to kind of look at, hey, I'm the guy in charge of this. This is how we're doing everything, to really being a little more open-minded.
Sure.
And understanding just it's really not about me
right.
at all.
Gosh, like we talked about on the show, and you just kind of walked into that spider web a little bit, is that, the loyalty of your staff. Your staff's been around for a number of years together. Don't you think that, or would you point to, that loyalty may stem from the fact that you let those dudes coach?
I think so. I mean, it's interesting how we started together. When I went to Sam, Sean played for me at Houston as a senior. He was in Florida.
Yep.
We brought him back.
Yep.
Philip, I've known Philip for years, and he steps in, and their roles were right as well.
Sure.
I mean, infield, offensive guys, outfield, catcher. Philip didn't catch.
Right.
He was an infielder, but he's an incredible teacher, and he's a grinder. And so you take their personalities, and then we add Phil Haig.
Yep.
And Phil used to, and I said this on the podcast, I mean, literally used to follow me, and he was my day-to-day, and he did all the grunt work, I guess. He didn't know how to tamp a mound, but he learned that too.
Of course he did.
But then the roles have reversed a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's great to see him grow and kind of be in charge of the pitching now.
Sure.
At 29 years old.
Sure.
But still have a resource from me and from Sean and from Philip. So I just think our ages, the way we coordinate together has created this. And I also said this on the podcast, is that I never want to hold them back either.
Right, 100%.
They're in a great spot in their careers. They're in a great location at the University of Texas, but I don't want to hold them back either.
No doubt.
And I think that they've sensed that. But it's just a really good marriage with our staff right now.
Gosh, I love that. You made a great point on our podcast when and one of the quote images ended up being that, you were being cognizant of the players and the fact that everything is earned. And I think as we're the timing of this episode, and we're talking January, we're just wrapping up convention. High school seasons, really tryouts kick up in February. We start playing mid-February. Small colleges get rolling. Players that have earned positions and earned that. And I loved your point, was that if that kid goes 0 for 8, I have to be aware that he did earn that position. And I've got to be, I think, probably more to why your players resonate with you and are loyal to you as well, is that they know that you've got their back, and there's a level of trust there, right?
Absolutely. And I learned as a player that for me to be my best, I needed to be able to, if I earn the right to be the starter,
right,
then allow me to start.
Earn the right to fail.
And so you've allowed me to start, so give me that opportunity to go play.
No doubt.
Because I earned it from the day we got on campus, and now opening day starts, and I'm the starter. Give me the opportunity, if I start slowly, that I still should have the opportunity to fail.
Right.
And so that's
awesome.
kind of how we've looked at it. And it's somewhat of a pro model, too.
Yeah, it is.
And now going into this time of the year, you got some new hitters, some new arms. So we got to figure out how their roles really fit in.
Sure.
And that takes some time. And we got a tough non-conference schedule. Yep. So we'll see how we do.
I love it. Well, best of luck this year. Coach Pearson, just again, men like you inside our association is awesome. congratulations on jumping on the main stage. I know great feedback from our coaches. We wish you the best of luck.
Great, Sheets. I appreciate you having me. I appreciate everything about the association, and you're doing a tremendous job to just continue to promote.
Thank you.
You know, promote us, but promote our programs, but just promoting the game of baseball, and we appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right.
Awesome.